Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you coverage of our Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is brought to you by the following sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, the Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience with locations in Hudson and on Main Street here in Milford. Rentschler Biopharma, sponsor of our broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. And Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude, serving the Milford community at their local branch on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the
Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the gymnasium here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience featuring an all-scratch-made kitchen and wood-fired flatbreads, an inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coet here with you, coming to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization. They specialize in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. We're happy that you hung with us here on our live coverage on this Wednesday evening, getting underway much later than anticipated. This was a estimated 5:30 start time for this game here tonight, but getting underway almost an hour and 15 minutes late. Winchester had a lot of issues getting here to Milford from Winchester earlier today. A lot of traffic in the Boston area that slowed the teams down, and so the sub-varsity games did not get underway until around 5:15. There was also a senior night ceremony in the mix here prior to the start of the varsity action as well. So a lot of moving parts, but we are ready to get this game started. It is varsity boys volleyball. It is Milford taking on Winchester. Milford out of the Hockomock League, Winchester out of the Middlesex League. Milford comes in with an overall record of 10-7. Winchester at 11-4. And it is Winchester who releases the opening serve of the game that glances off the hands of tonight's libero, Mikey Morera. Goes out of play, and so an unreturnable serve to open up this game. Serving for Winchester is Ethan Lubomirsky. We'll try that one more time. Beg your pardon for that pronunciation. Milford getting the quick side out. Winchester, known as the Red and Black, that is their official mascot. That was a change that was made effective back in 2021. So it is the Milford Scarlet Hawks, the Winchester Red and Black. A lot of red and black all around the gym tonight. And so the serve right back to the Winchester side now for number 3. That is Horan Jiang. Winchester has been a tough team this season. They were a playoff team in the Division II playoffs, as was Milford last year. Milford was the number 4 seed. Winchester was the number 6. They advanced all the way to the round of 8 in the D2 tournament last year before bowing out, the D1 tournament, excuse me. As that ball just does sneak over the net onto the Milford side, and it drops down for an early point. And so a 3-2 lead here in the early going for the Red and Black. Winchester serving now number 7, Tudo Sampaio. That is one of their captains. Milford gets a deflection off the front row that goes out of play, and that will tie this early score up at 3. Last time we had a chance to cover this Scarlet Hawks volleyball team, it was in a thriller here at home last week against the Greater New Bedford Bears. A match that saw Milford fall behind 2-1, only to come storming back in the late sets. They forced it to 5, and they were ultimately able to come away with the victory. Their most recent game took place just yesterday against Acton Boxborough, in a game that Milford ended up suffering a 3-set sweep defeat. So it's been hard for Milford to string wins together on this season, as they do get a nice shot down the line. I believe that was Paolo Mota in on that kill. So tied up again now at 4. So Iago Sampaio now serving on the Milford side. Not see Iago in action in that game against GNB last week. Winchester's going to get a quick side out here. Not a lot of history between these two teams. They did face off against each other in the regular season last year. It was a victory for Winchester. That's the only head-to-head meeting I could find going back many seasons. As the serve comes in down the line on the far side, and Winchester serving very well here in the first set. Serving now number 30, Landon Turk. This team had a lot of turnover after last season. They only have 2 starters returning on the roster from last year's team that advanced to the round of 8. Milford with a hard return from the near side. Pop straight up in the air. Eston LeBron will set it. Oda pushes it across. It's going to be a point on the Winchester side. Of course, when you think about Milford versus Winchester, the biggest matchup between these two schools came back a couple of seasons ago when Milford advanced to a state championship game in boys soccer. That was back in 2019, so more than a few years ago at this point, but still very clear in the minds of a lot of fans from both of these schools, as Milford was heavily favored to win that state championship after an upset win against Nauset, but in what was a very high-scoring state championship game, it was Winchester who was able to earn the win. Red and black taking an 8-4 lead on Milford here in the first set. Gio Verducci in on the action on the outside hitter spot. Hard return there from the Winchester side, but it goes sailing out of play. Milford using some different combinations here in this first set. Paulo Mota getting a lot of time on the court. John Sekaway out there now. Mikey Moreira in the libero jersey. Jason Comiskey calling Greco up front. Gustavo De Silva operating in the back row right now. Hard return from Mota, who's looked good here in the early going. Here's Greco. He'll punch that one down for the kill. The energy starting to build here. Decent-sized student section. Again, these fans had to wait quite a while in the gym configured for the two sub-varsity games, where only a couple of rows of bleachers are available. But a lot of fans sticking around late for this varsity showdown. So another serve goes to the back. Sailing in for a hard return on the Winchester side, number 7, Tudo Sampaio. Delivery from the Winchester side this time goes long. Not very easy to tell these two teams apart with such similar uniform color schemes. Milford operating on the left side of your screen right now. A push to the back, one-handed punch by De Silva. Nice job to keep that ball alive. Now Comiskey goes to the back row. Winchester able to track it down. Nice dig for Moreira. Moreira can't keep this one in play this time around. And Winchester is going to get the side out. Milford closing the gap. It's a 2-point lead. As the serve will come from number 11, Julian He. Milford's return goes long. Bench showing good energy as the serve is released by Julian He for Winchester. Here's Mota on the outside. The ball stays on the Milford side of the floor, and now Winchester's bench erupts. Winchester under the direction of head coach John Fleming, and we want to extend our thank you to Coach Fleming for sending a lot of good information on his program prior to this matchup today. This, I believe, is our first opportunity to cover a Winchester High School athletic program. Milford, meanwhile, a good scramble there just moments ago to keep play alive. Mota trying to slam that ball home, now getting caught out of position, and Milford will run out of touches. And the celebration after every point on the Winchester side. Coach Mainini now is going to call a timeout with Winchester now on top 12-7. And so we alluded to it a couple of moments ago. Milford was able to build all kinds of momentum early on in the season. We talked about this a little bit in the last broadcast as well. They won 5 consecutive games out of the gates. 7 out of their first 8 and 8 out of their first 10. But it has been much more of a struggle for Milford since then, since winning 8 out of their first 10 games in the last stretch since. They've now played 7 matches in which they have gone just 2-5. That included a 3-match losing streak from April 29th to May 2nd. They had victories in there against Attleboro and then that big win against Greater New Bedford, but of course they followed that up with a 3-set sweep loss at Acton-Boxborough yesterday. So they have not won consecutive games since April 14th and April 16th, wins against Greater New Bedford on the road and at home against King Philip. So their spot in the power rankings has taken a bit of a tumble as the season's gone on. We'll bring you those numbers a little bit later in the broadcast as well. We'll let you know where both of these teams stack up in the Division I boys volleyball power rankings. Right now a 12-8 lead for Winchester as Milford gets the side out. Jude Moffett, not wearing the libero jersey in this first set, will serve. A hard blast to the back row. That one might have been going out. Moffett stuck a hand out to try to make a play, and that drops down for a Winchester point. Now the service error on the Winchester side. Milford trailing by 4 as they get the serve back. Morera behind the service line. Set up for the spike. Milford keeps it airborne. They're able to get it back across. Moffett and Morera both diving on the back row to try to save that ball. This time Morera takes it. They'll set it up for De Silva on the far side, and his return is delivered long and far out of play. Right now, Milford playing with two of their typical outside hitters in Sam Abreu and Diego Santos, both on the bench. I don't believe we've seen either out on the floor yet. Kaminsky cannot handle the ricochet off the net. And the lead up to 6 now for Winchester at 15-9. Dug out here by De Silva. Kaminsky will set it up. Milford looking for the spike, but Winchester was ready. Gustavo Pereira trying to slam that one down, but Winchester's front row able to stand tall. Serve now from Oran Zhang. Can't get it over. And so the lead for Winchester stands at 6. Eston LeBron will return to the floor. He'll take over on serve. LeBron's service games were outstanding for Milford in that game against Greater New Bedford last week. Delivery sent out of play by Winchester, so Milford gets a couple of points back. Now trailing by 4. Beg your pardon, trailing by 5. To the back row, met by the libero, Lubomirski. Ball sent out of play, so Milford trying to rally. Fans trying to help Milford along. All the way up to the net front. Return dug out by Jude Moffett. Silva geared up for a hard return that was met on the front row for Winchester, but deflected out of play. And so the deficit down to 3 now for Milford. So another good service game here for Milford. And for Eston LeBron, there's another deflection that's going to go out of play, deflected by Milford out. So that spoils a good service game for LeBron. Lead at 4 for Winchester. Sampaio serves. Bertucci with the return. LeBron two-hands it back across. Set up. They fake the spike. And the setter sends the return. Milford was able to get to it, and then a blast out of play for Winchester, so trying to get a little fancy there in that rally for Winchester. It doesn't work out. Alamoda returns to the floor. Gustavo De Silva will serve. Three-point margin in this first set as Winchester slams it into the net. Serve dug out by Lubomirsky. Now Morera for Paulo Moda. Diving play by Sampaio. Now LeBron will set it. Milford fakes the spike. Moda flies in. Fraction on the Winchester side. And so Milford fighting back in this set. They've narrowed it now to a 17-16 score. So with the timeout, we can take a peek back to see how the matchup unfolded between these two teams last year. Winchester was able to get out to an early 2-0 lead. The first two sets relatively close. Winchester winning the first set 25-19. The second set 25-21. Then Milford was able to take the third set 25-17. But Winchester were able to take it up a notch in the fourth set. They ended up cruising 25-11. And that sealed the deal for a 3-1 win for the Red and Black in this head-to-head matchup last season. Again, that's the only time these two schools have met in recent memory. Both teams have been towards the top of the seeds in the Division I playoffs the last couple of years. Winchester has either won or been very close to a division title in the Middlesex League the last several seasons. As they're able to get the point here out of the timeout, they will not win the Middlesex this time around. Their chief rival in the league is Lexington, and it will be Lexington who earns the division title this season. Winchester winning it last year, those two schools sharing the league title the season before that. So it's been a real two-team race in the Middlesex League between those two teams. Milford faced Lexington earlier this season in a match that was relatively close. But Lexington ended up claiming the victory. Milford will claim this point. It's back down to a one-point margin at 18-17. Milford, I don't believe, has led at any point in this first set. A chance to tie it here. They'll go back to Iago Sampaio on serve. Down the line, dug out by the Red and Black. Now LeBron will set it from the middle of the floor to Moda. His return is blocked. They'll set it up now for Boraducci, who gets the deflection, and that will tie this setup at 18. Student section trying to cheer this team on to a come-from-behind win in this first set. Tied at 18 now. Sampaio's serve. It's pushed to the front row. And now deflected down off a touch by Milford. And so Winchester will hop back in front. Back to Landon Turk on serve for the Red and Black. LeBron setting it for Moda. A soft return, controlled beautifully, dropping down inside the far sideline. Moda's brought good energy to the floor here in this first set as well. Milford had a long time to scrimmage prior to the arrival of Winchester today. Again, the team was extremely late due to traffic issues on the long ride from Winchester High School. And so we had a chance to watch a mix of the varsity and sub-varsity players scrimmaging prior to the freshman and JV games getting started. And Moda was really a standout during that scrimmage, showing good power. It's a 20-19 lead here for the red and black. Here's Moda again, getting blocked on that front row. He'll get another chance. This time he hoists it to the back. Sampaio for the red and black gets the return. Moda again now from the far side, and it's kept off the floorboards. Nice play by the Winchester libero. Here's Milford trying to send this ball over. They get it there. Now Comiskey will set it up over the middle for Gustavo da Silva, who finds the empty spot on the floor and picks it for the kill. Nice long rally there. Milford able to emerge with the point to tie this first set up at 20. Good battle brewing between these two teams in the opening set. Jude Moffitt back on serve. And his serve is going to go long, and Milford has been able to tie it up on a couple of instances here in these late points, but they have not been able to take a lead. And so now here's Winchester back on serve, 4 points away from claiming the set. Here's Da Silva again, and shanks that return. Does not clear the net. And Coach Mainini is going to call a timeout. Winchester back in front now by 2 at 22-20. Taking a look at how things have gone recently for the red and black. They've been pretty consistent throughout the year, just 5 losses. I beg your pardon, just 4 losses. Unfortunately for Winchester, 2 of those 4 losses came against Lexington. They were not even able to win a set against their chief league rival, and so that is going to be the difference in those division standings. That's going to allow Lexington to claim the Middlesex title. The only other losses for the red and black on the season came against Chelmsford in a 5-setter and against perennial top seed Needham in a 3-set sweep. They've had some winning streaks throughout the season, a 4-game winning streak to open the year, won back-to-back games against Wakefield and Greater New Bedford in late April, and then just recently had a 5-game winning streak that was snapped with a loss to Lexington just 2 days ago. Here's Da Silva to the back row out of the timeout. Now a 2-hand push. Morera pops it straight up. Da Silva with good positioning to get a return across. Milford with a block, but the ball goes out of play. And so Winchester now back up by 3 and just 2 points away from winning this first set. Long way to go for Comiskey. Now Da Silva again can't get the angle. He sends that into the net, and it's now set points coming up for the red and black. It's been an excellent service game for Ethan Lubomirsky. Here's Da Silva, another chance to keep Milford alive. He's able to deflect that one off Sampaio and down for the point. So 1 set point is saved. Milford needing to be perfect here if they want to stay in it. Down 24-21, Mikey Morera serving. And this ball is going to hit the floor. Moffitt could not dig it. And so 25-21, Winchester is able to take this opening set. They will take the lead here in the Milford home gym. So we will take a quick pause here on the broadcast. A 1-0 lead now for the Winchester red and black on top of Milford as we bring you the coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Getting started with second set action here in the Milford gym. The Scarlet Hawks taking on the red and black of Winchester High School. And it's going to be Winchester who claims the opening point, and Mikey Morera a bit frustrated with positioning on the floor after Milford was unable to keep that rally going. Morera no longer wearing the libero jersey. That is now Jude Moffitt's role in the second set. Milford trying to go down the line. One-handed punch to try to save it. Good bid there by Winchester's number 12, Brian Lynn. Ball goes out of play, so tied at 1 here at the start of the second set. And again, Milford has yet to deploy Sam Abreu or Diego Santos in this match. Both continue to watch from the sideline. One-handed swat for Gustavo da Silva that just did sneak out of play on that far sideline. Milford has not led at any point so far in this match. Now into the second set. They were able to tie the score on a couple of occasions late in the first set, but unable to take a lead, and Winchester was able to go on the nice run in the end to close out the set. Winchester winning 5 out of the last 6 points in the first set after Milford had tied it at 20. Winchester with a 3-2 lead here as Milford gets the serve back. Milford now on the right side of your screens in the second set in this red versus black matchup. Little love from the net, gets that serve over. And now hard blast, and LeBron with good hustle points as he dove over towards his own bench, but could not keep play alive. So Milford falls behind here 4-2 in the early points of this second set. We're happy to bring you this coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. We're live across our Milford TV platforms here tonight, locally in Milford on our educational channel, as well as our Verizon High Definition channel, and we are streaming, as we do for all of our sports coverage, live on our YouTube channel. And if you happen to be perusing our YouTube channel this evening, we have all of our live coverage scheduled for a host of events that we will be bringing to you live on Milford TV in the next couple of weeks, including Milford's annual town meeting, which will take place on Monday of next week, the 2025 Dick Corbin Sports Awards, which will take place on Wednesday next week. We'll also have, weather permitting, the baseball senior night against Hopedale next Thursday night live. And then continuing with Milford's senior events, we'll have senior awards night and senior night the following week, and then all culminating with the Milford High School commencement ceremony on Sunday, June 1st. So all of that coverage has been scheduled. You can save those links, have them ready to go to be able to stream all of that coverage live over the next few weeks on Milford TV. And of course, we'll keep an eye on these spring teams and how things shake out for the postseason, in case we can sneak any spring sports playoff coverage in as well. It's a 5-5 tie here as Winchester delivers a hard return out of play, and so Milford will take a lead here at 6-5. Pushed over towards the far side. This return takes a hop off the net and out of play. Point for Winchester there to tie it back up at 6. Landon Turk again on serve. Milford gets the deflection, courtesy of Gio Guarducci, one of the seniors honored pregame tonight, along with Colin Greco, John Segway, Jason Comiskey, Paulo Mota. Those the 5 seniors on this year's roster. In what has been a challenging season, ushering in the next generation of varsity boys lacrosse after a dominant stretch from last year's senior class. Back down to a 1-point lead now. Hard blast into the net, stays airborne. Another chance for Mota. Dug out by Lubermersky. And now to the back, that is out of play. The only other late game going on across the Milford Athletic Complex is out on the softball field, where Milford is taking on King Philip, and it is a lopsided affair as King Philip has a 12-0 lead on Milford. It is right now in the bottom of the 5th inning, so Milford will need to supply some offense if that game is going to go beyond the bottom of the 5th. Here Milford hanging on to a 9-8 lead, down 1-0, and it's going to be tied up at 9 after that deflection. Ethan Lubermersky serving for the red and black. Comiskey. Milford trying to sneak that ball inside the antenna. They can't do it. Coach Mainini all the way up to the sideline talking technique and positioning after that play. And a good response from De Silva as he gets the kill. After Winchester had taken a 1-point lead, Milford knots it back up as now Jude Moffett will serve. Two-handed push for De Silva. Play whistle to a halt. Point for Winchester. Infraction on the Milford side. Substitutions coming in. Aran Zhang will serve now for the visitors. Winchester up by 1 in this set. Up by a set in the match. De Silva blocked again. It's been some different personnel for Coach Mainini utilized tonight. Now getting an opportunity to see Guillermo de Arujo out on the front row. We also saw DeRujo playing in the JV match earlier tonight. Had some dominant plays at the net. Here's De Silva. Again, De Silva can't get it done. He will sub out here, and we'll get our first look in the game at Diego Santos. Milford now trailing by 4. That first play from Santos is blocked. More good work on the front row. Now cross-court attempt, and Santos very animated after he gets the kill. Tortucci back on the floor. LeBron back on the floor. Milford trailing by 3 here in the second set. And Sampaio gets a deflection. Drops down right in the middle of the floor for a Winchester kill. Trying to keep things close. It is Tudo Sampaio on the Winchester side who leads in kills. He came into this game with 201 kills on the season. Not quite sure who the kills leader is on the Milford side, as we haven't gotten any stats publicized from Milford this season. Certainly respect the program's choice to keep stat information close to the vest. Back to a 1-point margin on the scoreboard, and give the point there in the end to Winchester. Wasn't quite sure the initial signals there from the official up on the podium. So 16-14. Dug out by Diego Santos, and a block in the front row. Three-point lead as Winchester continues to serve. LeBron will set it. Verducci cross court over towards the near sideline. That's played calmly. Milford rejects the return. The two officials confer, and the point is awarded to Winchester. Ben Yu now serving for the red and black. His serve goes long. And so the lead is 18-15 now. Winchester currently on a 9-6 run. Diving play for LeBron. Now Mota two-hand pushes to the back. Winchester is able to make up the ground. And now down the line, the return goes out of play. Marcelo Gomes serving for Milford. And a block. Colin Greco. And Milford back to within one. Here's Moda. Ensuing block from Winchester is sent out of play. Tied up at 18 now, Milford with a good response. And this time out of the reach of Santos. And so, similar situation here to what we saw in the first set. Very, very close here to the final points. We saw ties at 18-all and 20-all in the first set before Winchester was able to get just enough separation. Over for Gorducci, and he was able to sneak that one down into the front row. Winchester couldn't handle it, and we are tied at 19. Here is Segway. Set it on the outside, and no net clearance on the return attempt for Julian He. And so Milford's going to take a 20-19 lead. Good service game here for Segway. One-handed attempt for Diego Santos to try to save that ball, but a hard ricochet went off towards the scorer's table. Tied up once again, so exactly where we were at this point in the first set. Comiskey will set it. Moda able to beat the front row. He'll make an exit. Mikey Morera will return. And we'll take over on serve. Milford with a slim lead, 4 points away from evening this matchup. Sampaio, tracked down by Morera. Santos now. The dig goes off the net. Nice job by Winchester getting that ball back over. Now, with the fingertips, Santos gets the return. Comiskey will push to the near side for Santos. He gets stuffed. Get another chance here. And it is dropped down on the Milford side of the floor. Long rally. And Winchester is able to get it done. Tied at 21. Morera will set, but no, he'll get called for a held ball. And so Winchester will now pull ahead. They are 3 points away from taking the set. Comiskey pushes across the net, and that drops down just outside of the near sideline. And so Winchester takes a 23-21 lead. Coach Mainini has to call another timeout. Winchester has remained very calm in these late-stage situations. And digging in a little bit more to some of the information that Coach Fleming sent over, he noted that this Winchester varsity program recently won its 200th match in program history. They launched their volleyball program with a club season in 2010. They started their varsity program the year after. And they have been a quality program throughout their existence, qualifying for the state tournament the last 12 years in a row. So a great accomplishment for this Winchester team. Back out of the timeout now with Winchester trying to take a 2-0 lead on Milford. Here's Sampaio. He'll send a short return. Segway, a nice dive. Here's Santos now with the return. Winchester getting a little tangled up on the near sideline. Milford gets a return. Floated over. Sampaio, two-hand push. That ball might have been heading out. Milford makes the play. They're able to get the return. And now a hard rejection for Milford. Sampaio in front of his own bench. And Winchester cannot get it over the net. They run out of touches. And Milford with a little desperation feel during that rally. Again, not sure if that ball would have gone out beyond the back line. Moffitt elected to play it. And at a crazy angle, he was able to get that ball straight up in the air to keep Milford in the rally. And in the end, Milford takes the point. 1 point difference on the scoreboard. And Winchester, with a lack of communication there on the front line. Brian Zhang letting that ball go. Thought Sampaio had the better play on it. And so we're now tied at 23. Huge point coming up here. And it's dropped down the line, but it is out. And Milford will get a set point. And now it is the Winchester coaching staff who calls timeout. And Winchester a bit shell-shocked at the quick turn of events. So it is Milford who will have one set point chance here at 24-23. The red and black quick to return to the floor. So 24-23 Milford. Jude Moffitt will serve. Sampaio with a powerful return that could not be handled by Diego Santos. And so the set point is held off by Winchester. So now tied at 24. Serve for Haran Zhang. Pushed to the front by Moreira. High in the air for Santos, who drops it down for the kill. And Milford will have another set point chance at 25-24. Jason Comiskey serving. And Milford gets a spike out of Guillermo de Araujo. And Milford is going to take this second set just like that. A quick conclusion. And so 26-24. Milford outlasts Winchester here in the second. So we're tied up now at a set apiece. We'll take another timeout here on the broadcast. One set apiece. Back with more in just a moment here on Milford TV. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company with locations in Hudson and right here on Main Street in Milford. Tim Coet with you on the call. We're tied at a set apiece as we get right back to action in set number 3. A nice job in the closing stages of that second set for Milford. Ended up losing out on one set point chance. We went past the 25-point threshold, but Milford able to take it 26-24. And now getting their first kill here in set 3. Both of these programs with a lot of turnover after making deep playoff runs last year. Winchester making it to the round of 8 in D2. Milford, of course, making it once again to the Final Four. And we will get a look at the current power rankings in Division 2 at the next stoppage of play. With a setup here for De Araujo, but Milford will get whistled for a double hit. Three to one start to the third set for the red and black. Milford with a deflection going out of play. Tell you that right now the top 4 teams in the power rankings are not much of a surprise. Typical top performing programs. Again, we'll dig into that at the next timeout. 4-2 now is the Winchester lead. Milford getting the side out, and Eston LeBron will step behind the service line. Santos is blocked. Again, a block, and Milford will not be able to run that one down. Morera going into the dive more for style points than anything else. Had no chance to get to that ball. So 5-2 lead here as Morera and Moffitt collide in the back row. Little flick for Santos is dropped down by the Winchester front. Winchester still with excellent energy on their sidelines as Eston LeBron will punch this ball off and out of play. Milford couldn't track it. Ball going out of play off by the 1,000-point scorers banner, which is now officially light by one name. We'll get a new name on that banner at some point soon, and that name, of course, will be Andrew Rivera, the new all-time points leader in Milford boys basketball history. Here it's a 7-3 lead now for Winchester on top of Milford as Diego Santos will serve, and that ball just does go out of play. That was close. Then you behind the service line for the red and black. Called for another held ball. Winchester with plenty of momentum here early in the third. Attempted spike. Milford fighting in the front row, and LeBron doing everything he could do. And unfortunately could not get out of the way for a teammate to keep that ball alive. Milford will call a timeout here, so we will dig into those power rankings now. As we mentioned, Milford has dropped a bit in those rankings. We'll give you those top four we mentioned. Brookline right now is number one in the Division I power rankings with their 12-1 record. Behind them is a Milford nemesis, the Natick Redhawks. Milford will host Natick in a matchup here in the Milford gym next week. Natick is 11-2. Newton North, number 3 in these power rankings. I should say at the time that these rankings were listed, this is where each team's record stood. Newton North, the defending Division I state champs, are the number 3 in the power rankings right now at 12-3, and then it is Needham High School at 13-3. They are the number 4 in the power rankings. Winchester finds themselves at number 17 in the rankings, and Milford a bit further down than that, number 21 in the Division I power rankings. So certainly a much lower ranking for Milford than what they are accustomed to. They have been in the top 4 in this last run of dominance that their program has been on. But obviously still in the playoff picture, as Paolo Mota returns to the floor. He gets a deflection. Milford will get a point. Milford trailing here by 6 as they get the serve back on their side. Marcelo Gomes serving. And another point for the red and black. We have not seen any of Sam Abreu on the floor tonight. Gustavo De Silva subbed out partway through that second set. We have not seen him return now. Verducci with some spin on that return. Now LeBron. Moffitt takes charge in the back row, and Milford will run out of touches. And Coach Mainini will call a timeout as Winchester has opened up a 12-4 lead in this third set. Try to take a peek at where some of the other teams stand in their power rankings. Research in real time, looking at the Division II softball rankings. Milford came in at number 15 with their 7-6 record. Unfortunately, falling in a mercy rule defeat to King Philip, and the schedule very unforgiving for the girls in this closing stretch of the season. They will play games on both weekend days coming up this weekend, and they have a home-and-home series against the defending champion Taunton Tigers next week. So some very challenging schedule logistics and some very challenging opponents on the docket for Milford as they try to secure a playoff berth. The softball team does. So we'll take a look at some of those other power rankings if we can as the broadcast goes along. Winchester with a 9-point lead in this third set. Moffitt with his return attempt blocked, and right now Milford struggling to find answers. They could not build off of the momentum from that second set win. able to get the side out. Segoy will return to the floor. He will serve. Jason Comiskey back in the front row. Down the line, a solid winner for Landon Turk. Julian Key serving for the red and black. Good block in the front row for Winchester. Turk will set it up for Sampaio, who pushes to the back row. Now Moda cannot get sufficient elevation to get past that tough Winchester front. And right now the red and black pulling away in this third set, up now 16-5. Comiskey with a quick push, and Winchester able to get the deflection, and a big celebration after as the red and black are fully pumped up. Moda will head to the sidelines here. Gustavo Da Silva returns to the floor now with Milford reeling in this third set. A dig for Moffitt. Milford in a scramble. Da Silva with a one-hand push, and then a thunderous return for Winchester, but the celebration halted. The officials ruling that that ball must have gone outside the antenna. So Milford back on serve. Da Silva releases the serve. Segue fighting over on the near sideline. Attacking. Hard deflection off of Julian He, but Winchester recovers. Now to the back row. This time, he could not keep the ball alive. And Milford gets a kill. Back here now for the Scarlet Hawks on the Da Silva service game. I beg your pardon, that one ruled for the red and black, my apologies. So an 18-7 lead now for Winchester as Lubermersky serves. Milford a long way to go on that near sideline. They end up getting the return. Sampaio attacking the front row. That ball goes out of play, and they award the point to Milford. Deficit for the Scarlet Hawks at an even 10. A service error for Jude Moffitt. Milford unable to gain any kind of traction. Setting it up for Pierre Medea-Rougeau, who gets a big spike. Milford needs some more of that. Eston LeBron trying to pull Milford back in this set. Still a 10-point margin. LeBron will set it for Diego Santos. Just cannot beat that front row. Milford hasn't had quite the same level of height on their outside hitting positions that they've had in recent seasons. ball dropped out of the reach of Gustavo da Silva. Could not react quickly enough, and Winchester is 4 points away from taking this third set. It's been a breeze for the red and black so far here in the third. And again, Milford cannot keep play alive. Winchester rolling, showing tons of confidence. Tudo Sampaio serving for Winchester. And a rejection from Brian Zhang in the front. A lot of silence on the Milford side of the floor. LeBron will set it for Guarducci, who will deliver. The ball went out of play, but Milford will take the point on an infraction. So Milford trailing by 13. Here's Diego Santos now, trying to build a little Milford momentum, but instead his serve goes long, and we will have many set point chances coming up now for the Winchester red and black. And you trying to finish it for Winchester. LeBron sets it for Da Silva, lobbying for the deflection. Milford will not get the call. And so it is a dominant third set performance for the Winchester red and black. They take it 25-10. So Winchester goes back on top in the match. Milford will look to stay alive and force another 5-set match here at home. We'll see if they can get it done as we bring you the fourth set in this match when we return next. Coverage coming to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And, of course, the presenting sponsor for Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV is the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV is brought to you in part by Rentschler Biopharma. They are the sponsor of our broadcast booth. At their Milford site, Rentschler Biopharma offers full-service solutions along the entire biopharmaceutical value chain for large-scale clinical and commercial CGMP manufacturing. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV is also brought to you in part by Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude. You can check them out at their Milford location, right inside the Shaw's Plaza. Tim Coet here with our Milford TV crew, bringing you boys varsity volleyball coverage on Milford TV. We move on to a fourth set. Winchester back in front in this match, 2-1. They dominated the third set really from start to finish. Most lopsided set that we have seen so far. And so Milford in a similar position to where we saw them in the game against Greater New Bedford that we covered last week. Down 2-1. Trying to send this game to a full 5, but have to shake off a very shaky performance in that third set. Jason Comiskey serves to get the fourth set underway, and Milford will get a block from Guillermo de Arujo to start this fourth set. And the bench looking to bring some energy right away. Set up for Sampaio on the far side for Winchester. He gets blocked, and some good plays up at the net front in the early stages of this set for Milford. Comiskey wasting no time, releasing another serve. Milford trying for another block, but this time Winchester able to beat it. Now here is Ethan Lubomirsky on serve for Winchester. Comiskey sets it up on the outside, but Winchester denies. And now a hard deflection off the hands of Mikey Morera, once again wearing the libero jersey. So 3 straight points now for Winchester to take their first lead in the fourth set. Set up for Gorducci. Now on the outside for Tudo Sampaio, who is able to get the point for Winchester. Tudo Sampaio and Julian He, the two captains for this Winchester team. Comiskey, one of the captains for Milford. Good there in the dive, but he could not keep that ball alive. And so now a 5-2 lead for the red and black. Good service game here for Lubomirsky. And a big block. Brian Lynn in on that. 6 straight points now for Winchester, and that forces Coach Mainini into another timeout. So here is how the remainder of the season will unfold for the Scarlet Hawks after they wrap this game up tonight. They have 3 games next week, all against top-tier opponents. They will travel on the road all the way out to Western Massachusetts to take on the Westfield Bombers on May 16th. And then they will return home for their final 2 matches of the season. I should say that game against Westfield will be on Friday of this week. And then next week, home matchups against Lincoln Sudbury, and they will conclude their regular season against the Natick Red Hawks next Thursday. So Milford really being tested here in these final games of the regular season. So out of the timeout, Milford trailing 6-2. Serve continues to come from Ethan Lubomirsky. Hard return for Gustavo Da Silva right into the body of Julian He. Nothing he could do with it. Deflects far out of play. Milford with play whistled to a halt. Point goes to Winchester. sure if there was some contact there underneath the net. Saw a little good sportsmanship high five between players on each side afterwards. Ranjang serving. Miski pushes across to Diego Santos. One of the best looking kills of the night for Milford. Colin Greco now returning to the floor. Marcelo Gomes as well. All the way over after the Winchester dig, and Milford was able to pounce. So a couple of points back here now for the Scarlet Hawks to pull it back to within 2. Milford trying for the block, but ball sent back over outside of the antenna. Here's Santos again going cross court, picking on Lubomirsky. So Milford keeping it close now. Away. And then a deflection, drop down. For Winchester kill, Coach Mainini again immediately over to the sideline. We saw victories for both of the Milford sub-varsity squads earlier tonight. Both of them were sweep wins. The freshman and JV squads for Milford were dominant, but the varsity team has had their hands full. And a spike to end that rally for Eston LeBron. Not the leading candidate to make a play like that at the net, but able to get it done. Pumped up afterwards. Stays a 2-point margin. Jude Moffitt serving for the Hawks. Digs out that hard blast. Now here's De Silva looking to answer back, and he picks the corner for the kill. Trying to tie the setup. They'll do it. A 7-3 response here for Milford. Here's De Silva. Silva rounding into form here in the fourth set. De Silva tends to play his best in the real pressure moments, especially the deeper into the match it gets. Driven down the line, Moffitt is able to make contact, but a hard ricochet goes out of play. We're tied up now at 10. As we cover this game for you live, it's hard to not keep an eye on what is happening up at the TD Garden, where the Celtics are trying to keep their postseason alive despite losing Jason Tatum to that ruptured Achilles tendon. Just a crazy turn of events for the Celtics in what a lot of people thought was going to be a run to a second straight championship. Now just trying to stay alive for one more day. They are tied at 59, almost finished with the first half. For those who are opting to support Milford, keeping their attention on this game live and waiting on the Celtics for later, we certainly appreciate your attention here on our varsity volleyball coverage. Serve goes out for Milford, so we are tied again. Milford 12, Winchester 12. Winchester with the 2-1 advantage. Driven down the line. More good velocity from Tuto Sampaio. That pushes Winchester back in front. Cross-court attempt from De Silva is long that time. Winchester would love to end this match here in the fourth. Milford hoping to play their second five-setter here at home in their last 3 games. Lead for the red and black as the captain of the Scarlet Hawks, Jason Kaniski, serves. Sampaio again, he's blocked, but ricochet goes out of play. Winchester up by 2. Ethan Lubomirsky on serve. Set up beautifully for a spike for Brian Zhang. Lubomirsky has had some excellent runs on the service game tonight. Milford drives that to the back. It's too long. Coach Mainini is going to call another timeout. So again, just to remind all of you out there, we have just 1 game remaining on our spring sports schedule. We've been kind of flying by the seat of our pants here on our schedule throughout this month of May due to a lot of schedule changes. We ran into a real rough patch of weather for about a week span last week, but been able to put together a good schedule for you so far. It will conclude, weather permitting, on Thursday of next week, when we will hope to have coverage of the baseball senior night game against the Hopedale Blue Raiders. Right now that's scheduled for a 6:30 first pitch between Milford and Hopedale. We've been able to cover that senior night game for each of the last several seasons. So hoping to bring that to you. It's going to be just our second time seeing the baseball team in action. Regretful that we haven't been able to get out to Fino for more games this spring. So that will be a week from tomorrow. In the meantime, back to action here on the Milford hardwood as Winchester gets another spike. They're starting to close in on a win here in this fourth set that would end the match. Gio Borducci helps end that run for the red and black. Gustavo De Silva serving for Milford. short return this time for Sampaio. Milford expecting the velocity. They get the changeup. Harang Zhang serving now for the visitors. Set up on the near side. Lunge for De Silva to dig it out. Play halted. Infraction for Winchester gives Milford the side out. It's a 4-point deficit for Milford. As Marcelo Gomes again will serve. Ball loops over. Milford plays it. They're going to say that ball came around the outside of the antenna. Milford was taking no chances. Up to a 3-point margin. Winchester looking for a spike. Milford digs it. And now again, Winchester's going to get called for an infraction. Sampaio trying to rally his troops over on the Winchester side. Milford's cut it to 2. Good service game in progress here for Marcelo Gomes. Great dig for Gustavo De Silva. Now Winchester is going to get the side out. Five points away from a match victory. And their captain behind the service line. Backwards setup to Gorducci. He goes down the line, keeps it in. Good finesse there from Gio. Milford down by 2. Winchester trying to get a little too cute there at the net. They get called for the held ball. Makes it a 1-point fourth set. Hard deflection for Milford is going to go out of play. (21-19) is the Winchester lead. And Yu serving for Winchester. Milford looking a little out of sorts there. Winchester takes advantage. Red and black back on serve. They need just 3 more points. Milford running out of time. Santos gets blocked. Set it up over the middle for Sampaio. He delivers it long. Just a 2-point differential as Moffitt comes on to serve for the Scarlet Hawks. Struggling at the net front. Milford with a couple of points in a row, trying to tie the set up here. Block in the front for Milford. Now push to the back row. LeBron will set it for De Silva. Milford takes the point. They're going to tie this fourth set up at 22. Another serve from Jude Moffitt. Hoisted down the line, hard ricochet off the backboard of the basketball hoop, and bad luck there for the Scarlet Hawks. Critical point here on the serve of Landon Turk. Ron will set it up for De Silva, and Milford is going to get the point. At 23 all, the serve from Mikey Morera. Turk will set it. It's rejected by Milford. Another rejection, quick hands at the net, and Winchester runs out of time. Milford very aggressive, and so all of a sudden now Milford is going to have a set point at 24-23. Timeout taken on the floor. So at 22-19, it was not looking good for Milford. But going on a 5-1 run to put themselves in position to extend this match to a fifth set. Both teams not wasting a lot of time in the timeout. Back on the court. Mikey Morera serving to try to push Milford into a fifth and deciding set. Set up on the near side. It is floated out of play. And so Milford pulls themselves back from the brink here in the fourth set. And we will indeed see a fifth set here at home once again. Tied up at 2 sets apiece. We will see the fifth and final set in this varsity boys volleyball matchup when we come back next as we bring you the coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is presented by Rail Trail. Back in the Milford gym, 5 sets on the menu for the second straight home game for the Scarlet Hawks. 5th set begins here with a return delivered out of play. Milford hoping for a deflection. They get the call. The official over by the scorer's table overruled the initial call. And so Milford grabs the first point in set number 5. Jude Moffett continuing to serve here for Milford. Sends a serve over that cannot be returned. 8:30 in the evening here, playing deep into the evening hours. And a response from Sampaio. Gill makes it a 2-1 score, and there's now Ethan Lubomirski for Winchester, who will serve. LeBron sets it up for a Greco spike attempt that's rejected. Now Gustavo Da Silva, quick hands, but a quick response on the Winchester side. Sampaio with a hard blast. And play whistled. Winchester gets the point, so they respond. Tied at 2. Da Silva cross court, dug out by Lubomirski. Sampaio down the line, that's out. Mikey Marrera serving now for Milford. A big rejection for Winchester, but it goes out of play. And Milford up 4-2. This is now the 4th 5-set match that Milford has played this season. They are 2-1 in 5-set matches so far, including that win in 5 sets against Greater New Bedford last week. A little loop to the back and just out of play. Ooh, that was close. The Milford student section right over in that area saying that ball was in. But they'll stick with the call, and so a 4-3 score now. Winchester is also 3-1 in 5-set matches. 5-set wins against Arlington, Newton South, and St. John's Prep. They lost in 5 sets to Chelmsford earlier this season. So I beg your pardon, Milford's record in 5-setters is 2-1. Winchester's is 3-1. But both of these teams with 5-set experience on the season. Milford with a 5-3 lead now. Sampaio on the near side blasts it out of play. No deflection. And so Milford grabs the 3-point edge. Comiskey serving for the Hawks. To a knee, Lubomirski digs it. Comiskey now setting it up for Da Silva, too strong. And now Tudo Sampaio will serve for the red and black. And a service error. Once again, a 3-point lead for the Hawks. Trying to get the angle there. Winchester delivered it out of play off the hands of Brian Zhang, and so we'll flip sides of the floor with Milford in front 8-4. So that third set really proved to be the outlier in this match. All of the other sets very closely played, came down to the last couple of points. Winchester winning the first set 25-21, Milford winning the second set 26-24. Then came that relatively non-competitive third set that Winchester won 25-10. And then Milford with a come-from-behind performance in the fourth set to steal it 25-23 to send us to this fifth set. And the Scarlet Hawks are now in a good position, up 8-4 as the teams flip sides of the floor. Winchester back out on the floor. Milford using these final few seconds to talk things over with their coaching staff. Andrew Mainini and Kelly Lawrence in that huddle for the Scarlet Hawks. Gustavo da Silva serving out of the timeout. And that serve drops in for the ace. Winchester bailed on it, and they pay the price. Serve dug out by Julian He. Deflection goes over. Comiskey with a dive over to the near sideline. This ball all the way over and pushed down for a spike. Gustavo Pereira getting into this game late, making an impact. And Coach Fleming calling a timeout for Winchester as Milford is 5 points away from taking this match. Milford looked flat in that third set. They looked dejected after losing it 25-10, and at times looked like they were on the verge of bowing out in the fourth set. They trailed that fourth set 22-19, but then a switch flipped. They ended up emerging 25-23, and now playing their best in these most meaningful moments here in the fifth set. Most of the fans have stuck around for this whole game, and why not? It's been entertaining. Gustavo da Silva still serving with Milford up 10-4. And again, drops it in for another ace. Da Silva has dotted that back line a couple of times in this service game. Two big aces. And now a good play on the back row from Da Silva. Santos with a return. Now a two-hander. Milford somehow kept it airborne momentarily. Winchester will get the point, but an amazing effort there as we've seen Mikey Marrera really fearless diving all around the floor. So Winchester gets the side out. Trailing 11-5. As the serve comes from Ben Yu. So it goes over the net to Silva, pushes to Comiskey, and set up for a Pereira spike. Gustavo Pereira with a couple of big plays in this fifth set. He'll sub out as Marcelo Gomes will take over on serve. Milford needs just 3 more points. And Winchester cannot get it over the net. Milford keeps rolling. Ball popping off of Sampaio's hands, but Winchester keeps it under control. Comiskey sets it up over the middle for Greco. Now cross court, Santos digs it out. He'll get a chance at the return. It's blocked. Now Greco will set it. Lubomirsky with the dig. Two-hand push to the back. Gomes is there. Here's Guarducci. And looped out of play. A long rally. A miscue in the end for Winchester, and Milford will have match points. A quick serve for Gomes. And blasted out of play, and that is that. Domination in this fifth set for the Scarlet Hawks. They come from behind here tonight, and they defeat the Winchester Red and Black in a full 5 sets. And Milford has brought the drama here to their home floor in these last couple of games, but they pulled this one out yet again. So with the victory, Milford will improve now to 11-7 on the season. With the loss, Winchester will fall to 11-5, so a game that could have big implications in those power rankings. We'll see how things continue to develop as we head into the final week of the regular season next week. This is our final home coverage for this boys volleyball team. They won all 4 of the games we were here in the gym to cover. We certainly wish the team well in a challenging final week to the regular season. So our next coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV will come your way on Thursday of next week for that senior night baseball game for Milford against Hopedale. But again, we will also have live coverage of the 2025 Dick Corbin Sports Awards on Wednesday next week at 7 o'clock, so you can stream that coverage live on our YouTube channel as well. We'll also be live on our educational and HD channels as well. But that's going to wrap things up tonight. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew bringing you the coverage tonight. Our director is Hunter Miller, and our camera operator is Patrick Garapi, and I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford wins another 5-set thriller. They win it 3-2. We bring you this action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. This has been a presentation of Scarlet Hawks Athletics here on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.